So usually we access table maintenance generator screen using SM30, and there we maintain the values. But there is one more option. So sometimes user may ask to create a shortcut or a transaction code, a separate transaction code to access the table maintenance screen. For that we can create a custom transaction code. So these SC38, SC11, these are all standard transaction codes, right? So we can also create our own custom transaction code for the programs, right? For the programs what we created in SC38, we can create a transaction code so that you can directly access from the command prompt. Just type in and access the particular application, right? So how to create a transaction code? Let's see how to create a transaction code. Everyone aware of creating table programs, right, in SC38? So we created basic programs, right? Is everyone aware of that? Creating basic programs in SC38?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
For anyone of you don't know, please let me know quickly. I'll show you. So you have to respond. If you don't respond, I may not know, right? If anyone of you don't know how to create a program. So how can we execute a program? Usually we go to SC38 and enter the program name and execute. Let me create a simple program.
Your screen is not shared.
So I'm sorry, yeah. Okay, we have a simple program here. So how to execute this program? To execute this program, we need to go to SC38 and execute this. But usually users doesn't have SC38 access because SC38 is a development transaction code. You don't have access to use SC38 in general for the users. As ABAP developer, you may able to access, but the applications, when you created the application, so you cannot. So SC38, business users may not have access to SC38 to access that application. For that, what we need to create? A custom transaction code you have to create. So where can you create custom transaction codes? The transaction code to create custom transaction code is SC93. SC93 is the transaction code to create custom transaction code or access standard transaction codes. For example, SC38, it's a standard transaction code. Display, click on display. Say program, a standard program is configured for this transaction code, so that whenever you execute this transaction code, the standard program will execute. Okay. Similarly, we create our own custom transaction codes. For example, for this report program, this demo report program, we'll create one transaction. Z name should starts with Z. Z demo. Z demo PROG. Z demo PROG. That is my transaction name. You can use underscore. You can use underscore. Okay. Or you can simply keep as short as possible. Okay. Transaction name should keep as short as possible. I'm using this name, Z demo PROG, or you can use any name starts with Z. Okay. Create demo program, provide the description. So for which we are creating the transaction code? For program, right? For report program. This is called report program, whatever the program we created in ABAP editor. Now what is the option you have to select here? Program and selection screen, that is report program, report transaction code. For programs, SC38 programs, you have to select this option, program and selection screen, report to transaction. Continue. So what is the input for this? Program name. Whatever the program you created, enter the program name. That's it. You don't need to do anything. If you want to select these options, GUI support option. Anyway, this is optional. Okay, save the transaction code. Now your transaction is saved. Now how to execute this transaction code? /o and the transaction code name. So it's executed the program and display the output. If you have any parameters, in the program, it will display parameters also. Let me define one parameter. I've defined one input parameter, right? I have defined one input parameter. Let's see how the transaction code will work. /n transaction code name ZDemo PROG. First, it will displaying the selection screen. Once you enter the value and click on execute, it will display the output. Okay. If you don't have any selection screen, it will directly display the output. Okay. So next time you don't need to go to SC38 to execute the program. Use this transaction code ZDemo PROG to execute the program. Is everyone clear?
Sir.
You have to create report transaction code. When someone asks you to create a report program in SC38, by default, you have to create a transaction code for the program, because when you move this program to the production system, where actually these programs are being executed, they cannot use SC38 to execute the programs. So we should create a transaction code. We need to provide the transaction code to execute the program. Okay, it's like a shortcut for the program. Now we created transaction code for the report program. How about table maintenance generator screen? We can also create transaction code for table maintenance generator screen, a separate T code. How to create that? What is the transaction code to create custom transaction codes?
SC93.
SC93. Go to SC93. Now we are creating EMP. I'm creating transaction code for table maintenance generator screen, so that without going to SM30, it should directly open the table maintenance screen. Click on create. Now, what type of transaction code we are creating?
Report.
No, we are not creating. This is not for a report program, right? This is for a table maintenance generator screen. For that, what type of transaction code we need to select? Parameter transaction code. What type of transaction
Parameter.
code? Parameter transaction code for table maintenance generator screen. Click on continue. Now provide the description. And what is the transaction? Transaction nothing but SM30. Transaction nothing but SM30, and skip initial screen. Initial screen nothing but when you open SM30, it will display one screen, right? To enter the table, display, change, right? So we need to skip that initial screen. You don't need to worry about screen number and everything. So only thing you need to maintain is if you scroll down, select this GUI support options, and scroll down, go to this default values option. You need to see this default values option. Here we need to maintain few entries. They are view name. First one is view name, that is table name, ZDemo employee. Next, update. We need to enable the update. That means change mode. Open the table maintenance screen in change mode, so that it will directly open that in change mode. Okay, you have to provide the view name as the table name, and update is X, capital X. Okay, and transaction code as SM30, and skip the initial screen. Now save the transaction code. Now test the transaction code. You can test the transaction code here. ZDemo employee T code. Execute. It is opening table maintenance screen directly in the change mode, right? Or you can ZDemo underscore EMP. Execute the transaction code directly. ZDemo underscore EMP. Right? It's opened the transaction code directly. Right? So you don't need to go for SM30. It will directly open maintenance screen in change mode if you use parameter transaction code. This is how we create transaction codes for the report programs and table maintenance generator screens. So what type of transaction code we create for report programs? Report to transaction code. For table maintenance generator, parameter transaction code. The inputs are transaction code, that is SM30, and values, that is view name and update. View name is nothing but table name. Okay. This by default you have to create when someone asks you to create a report program. Once the program is completed, create a T code. Once the table maintenance screen is completed, create a transaction code. Right? Is everyone clear?
Yes, sir.
So because why we create these T codes in production environment, right? They don't have access to SC38 or SC11. These are all development transaction codes. So usually what is the system landscape in any project? Where do we do development or creating programs? In development server. This is development server. Once your development is completed, we need to apply those development changes to which system? It's common in any environment. Test system, test or QA. We call it as QA, test or QA. Once here testing will happen. Once the testing is completed, changes will be moved to which system? Production system. Here where the actual programs will execute. So where the live business will run and the programs will execute, whatever the programs you created in development environment, right? So when you go to the bank, what type of system that bank cashier uses? Is it development system, test system, or production system? Sorry?
Development system.
No. So that is a production system. What they use, they create the transactions, right? So they deposit the amount, they withdraw the amount. They won't do that on test or development systems. They do it on production systems. Okay, the actual live systems. Whatever the changes we do, we just create the applications in development system and test the applications in test system. And after all testing is completed, we apply that changes to production system, right? Where the actual transactions are created. Right? If you go to any shopping mall, whatever the system they are using in the billing counter, is it a production system or development system?
Production system.
They use it, they create transactions on the production system, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, any questions? We'll continue in the next session.